Okay, I'm not an expert in this, but I did deal with a similar problem, so hopefully this can help. You're right, there wasn't very much literature online about it, but I think after spending quite a little bit of time and doing some deep digging, I was able to understand it a little bit better. Again, I'm not an expert, but I did experience similar symptoms in my animation when importing from Mixamo, so hopefully at least this can help, or at least give you a clue. Okay, so I have this model here that I'm going to attach a Mixamo animation to it. So first, I'm going to jump into here, and I'm going to download my walk cycle in place. Unity for FBX without skin. Okay. So here it is. Okay, so here's my walk animation. If I import the animation and select create an avatar from this model, that's a human, we should see the animation be bound to that avatar. Okay, so now when I go into here, my model, and I have my controller, and I attach the animation to the controller, and we let this run, we can see the animation here. You can see it's doing something wonky with its foot, right? So this can actually be exacerbated based on the model that you download, right? And I think the issue has to do with the T-pose that's being imported from Mixamo not being in the exact form that it needs to be, right? So if we look at the imported animation and we look at the humanoid rig that we generated, and we look at it specifically here, you can see the one foot is not in the right place, right? And that offset is likely what's causing that foot to raise and be a little bit weird, right? So if I do this and I change this even more, if you look at the animation and you play the animation, you should see it even more, as you describe, broken leg, right? Okay, so I believe it's just the Mixamo T-poses not importing, in that ideal T-pose form. So the way to fix that would be to either go into here and configure your T-pose so it's in the exact form that the rig that you have in the game, right? So we would try to line it up best we can, right? And that can actually be quite tricky because you have to eyeball it, right? And some of the stuff importing from Mixamo doesn't necessarily work. Like I've seen some of the rigs coming in and being very different than the rigs that are already assigned to the models that that you have, right? So if you look at some of the other kind of more burly characters, their T-poses are slightly different. Their hips are kind of more wide apart, and the angles are different, right? And that will create more discrepancy in your animation. So there's actually a better way to fix it, I believe. Okay, so let's just play this one first, okay, and see what happens. Okay, so I adjusted the foot there, and we'll go back to our crew member, and we'll play the walk cycle. Maybe I fixed it, or maybe I screwed it up even more. It looks like it's doing it on both feet now. So let me just jump back here and see if I can do this. Okay. Okay, so you can see it's not quite where I want it to be, right? So I believe the solution to this would be to go back onto Mixamo, and you look for the T-pose here. There used to be a male and a female T-pose, but I think they consolidated it down to one, right? So you download the T-pose, right? Same thing. Okay. And then when the T-pose is in engine, okay, here's our T-pose. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to generate our avatar from this one, right? So create from this model, and it's a humanoid, and I believe this one will be in the form that we need it to be in. So if we go into our walking animation now, and instead of using create the avatar from this model, we can copy the avatar from our T-pose, or our avatar that was generated from our T-pose. Okay, so if we do that, we should get a walk cycle that works much better. And there we go. You can see the feet are in the right spot. They're not doing that weird junky thing anymore. So I'm not sure if that's the issue that you're facing, but every Mixamo animation that I imported had kind of subtle issues, right? And using an avatar generated from the T-pose on Mixamo did actually solve the problem for me. Okay, so I hope that helps.